Pastor Wives. Hello, hello, hello. Some of you may come on and watch the replay. I'm going to make sure y'all can hear me. Okay, awesome. Some of you may watch the replay. Some of you may join later. But I want to say hello. I pray you have had an amazing year. I pray you have had a life-changing year. I know I normally go live on Thursdays, but if you saw my message, due to my daughter's game on Thursdays, I'm unable to go live because her games and she wants her mama there. So I have to be there to support her, and that's going to change next year because she'll be in high school. I can't believe it. Jesus, she's going to be in high school. And so I will not be able to be at, I mean, I could do it again after this season is over. But I decided to do a 2-day event here in this group during lunchtime because I'm already, during lunchtime, this is the time that I have available. So I wanted to make sure that I come on, even if you don't show, but hopefully you watch the replay of this information. And I wanted to share with you some things that I'm going over in my class with the ladies in my class. And those things that I'm going over is concerning 2023, preparing for 2023, concerning 2023. And I'm going to do this real quick so I can make sure I get everybody. Where we go. But concerning 2023, because I just believe that we're in a year. Where is it? Pastor wife. Okay, I'm trying to do this, y'all. Hold on. Never mind, it's not working. So I was going to try to tag y'all, but that's not working. I'll do it afterwards. So here's the thing is that I realized that during the moment of learning how 2023 and every year is always important. I tell people this all the time. It's not that 2023, we want to be able to get to a point to where it's not new year, new me. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is whatever you were doing before, I just want to be able to add to that, give you some principles to add to that part of your life. In 2023, like I said, I'm doing some things with my ladies. It's a 4-week program, and I decided to bring some of those jewels, some of those gems over here in this group. And so I pray right now that something I say, something that, I'm a churchy girl, so I got to pray, Lord, that you would have your way during this call, that somebody's life will be changed during this live, and they'll be able to catapult and cultivate in the year of 2023. And so I'm praying that is what you will receive from this. So let's just go ahead, jump in right now. This may be to that person that is in purpose. As a pastor's wife, you're doing purpose. So I pray that is the case. Alexa Skip, I also pray that not only are you doing purpose, but you're living in purpose, you are breathing purpose, but you have plans and you have prepared this year for that purpose, right? I'm praying that is the case, that you have prepared, you have planned for this year. If not, I want to be able to give you some principles and give you some things. I'm not saying that I have made it. I will never say that. But I've learned the power of planning, praying, preparing, and pursuing those things that God has given from experience to be able to pursue. And so I want to kind of talk about that. Maybe you're in between. You're in between a place. You are the pastor's wife of this church. You know that, okay, I'm designed to do something here in the church alongside my husband. And he wants me to do, some husbands want you to move and do some things in ministry. But this is really not just about ministry. This is also about you as an individual. You as an individual, as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, you as an individual. It has nothing to do with all the extra, but what God has given you. So I asked you a question in this group, and that question was, what is your word for the year? And most of the time, we don't have a word for the year because, can I be honest and frank, we sometimes lean and depend on our pastor husband for the vision, for direction, for the things that we need. And here's the thing, when we learn to lean and depend on our pastor husband for those things, we got to realize that at the end of the day, I gotta have a vision for myself. I gotta have a plan for myself. I have to walk out this thing for myself as a woman. Because when we get to heaven, God is not gonna ask us what did our husband do, but He's gonna ask us what did we do. So I come to kind of share some principles, man, because I realized that I was in an area of between. Before 2023 hit, and I was just like, okay, God, what's next? What am I designed to do? What am I supposed to do? And I heard the Lord so clear tell me that I needed to go and have a prayer, create a space, a prayer time with Him. And as I created this space, a prayer time with Him, I realized that in that moment of meditating and of spending time with Him, the word that God gave me for the year was capitalize. Tonya, I need you to capitalize everything that you've given me. That right there gave me I love what what is her name? Lady Robin is doing a vision board party. Man, check her out. I won't be able to make it, but I'm praying for you and shouting out for you. Lady Robin is doing a vision board party. But here's the thing is that I found out in that very moment the importance of vision, because I remember 3 years ago, 2 years ago, as well as last year, writing down the vision and making it plain so that I could run with it. Whoever could read it could run with it. And I saw myself running with it, but I kept trying to think, what am I supposed to do? And then realize I just needed a vision. That's it. Come here. Let me talk to every woman on here that is listening to these under the sound of my voice, is that all you need is a vision so that you can run out in that vision. So when I heard the Lord say capitalize, I need you to capitalize everything that I've given you throughout the years that you have used, and I need you to make that thing better. I need you to just capitalize what you already have. Make sure you have a reason for doing it. Make sure you have a purpose for doing it. Make sure you have that. So I asked you that question for a reason. I thank you to those that shared your word of the year. What is your word for the year? Do you have a word for the year? Do you have a vision for the year? Last year, my word for the year was intentional. This year is capitalized. So not only am I capitalizing, but I'm going to be intentional in my capitalization of what I'm doing. I got to be intentional. So maybe you're in between and you're at a place of, what have I experienced, from last year until the years before that? What is my experience? What are the things that are attached to me? Because when I have a word for the year, I'm not able to look at everyone else's opinion about what I'm supposed to do for the year, but I'm here to look at everything that I'm designed to do for this year and not what everybody else is doing, because I have a vision for myself. Woo! I see y'all hearts. That's all I can really see. Yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining. All that great stuff. But I gotta have, when I have a word and I'm in between trying to figure out the vision for myself, not for my husband, not for my children, not for my church, but God, what am I designed to do? Because if the head don't have a vision, your head is your husband, but if you don't have a vision as the visionary that's in your household, it could cause chaos within the house. Ooh, Jesus on the main. Y'all, I'm having a bad hair day, so just walk with me. Yeah, it could cause chaos in your house. But what happens is when you get to a point of finding out what you're called to do, now you can't attach yourself to others' opinions. Now all you need is things that people have placed in you, those things that not people have placed in you, but that thing that God has placed in you, which is called experience. And with that experience, you could be able to take what God has given you, expand it to a whole nother level that will be able to create purpose like no other. So what happens? What happens when we're in between? We have a moment of shame. We have a moment of doubt. We have a moment of guilt sometimes as a pastor's wife. Yes, we do expect. Maybe that ain't you, but I've been there where I've experienced when I've been in a moment of between trying to figure out what am I called to do? What am I designed to do? I was in a moment of, oh my God, like, first of all, am I the reason why these people left this church? Come here. Am I the reason why that nobody wants to go to this church anymore? Am I the reason why that, am I doing too much as the pastor's wife? Because my husband and I do ministry together. Am I doing too much in my pastor husband's ear? You find yourself in guilt and shame when you're at a place of between. Woo, I hope y'all walking with me. Jesus, I've been ready to get this to y'all all day. Again, when you are in a place of between where you're trying to find out what am I designed to do as the pastor's wife in this season, not just the pastor's wife, but also as a woman, period. So I don't just come to talk to the pastor's wife in you, but I just want to encourage, empower, that woman that's on the inside of you. You were a woman first before you were the pastor's wife. Let the church say amen. You are the woman before you were the pastor's wife. So when you're in between your assignments, you will get to a place of between. But I believe we can learn how to pull away from, the applause of people and the approval of people when we move and what we're called to do right now in this season. So my question again, what is your word for the year? What's your word for the year? And one thing about it, when you tell your word for the year, you tell it out loud. It's almost like immediately you feel accountability, because when I heard the Lord say that, I had the women in my church do the same thing. Like, give me your word for the year. And it was like, oh, wait a minute. I literally got to have a word for the year. And it gave accountability when you speak it out loud and you say it out loud. It gives you that accountability that you need in order to move into your purpose. So here's the thing that I want to talk about. One of the things that I found out in my ministry was that before the pandemic, we were a moving church. Like, I was always doing conferences, doing retreats, doing all kinds of things. I was always in the midst of doing something. But this is the thing that I found out. In the midst of doing all these things, when the pandemic hit, church is different. It's not the same. Excuse me. It's not the same. Maybe for other people, but it's not. It's a little bit different. And so we had to learn. We had to pivot. And we had to learn some different things. And so I took a moment, my husband and I both, last year was a year of health for our ministry. And so with that, we kind of, I'm not going to say took a break, but we needed a moment of healing as a church. And very well needed, right? And so we found out during that process, I found a lot of people saying, I remember when we did. I remember back in the day when we did this. And I remember back in the day we did this. And I found myself getting frustrated because while we continue talking about back in the day, when we are still moving forward, there's a lot of things that we're already doing that's in the midst. I wrote a book with the ladies of my church for the very first time. That was a whole year of planning and preparing. And just because maybe they weren't a part of that, they didn't feel a part of it. So this is what I found out, that I couldn't get upset of those that stayed in the past. Come here. I couldn't get upset with those that stayed in the past. I couldn't get upset with those that did not understand where we were going and where we were moving as a church. I couldn't get upset with those. And this year for our church is a year of production. And oh my God, it has been, it feels like we're going 90 miles an hour. I started the first month off of 4 weeks pouring into my women in my church, right? And they all showed up and I was so excited. But here's the thing is that when some people live in the past, we can't live in what we did 10 years ago, 20 years ago of accomplishment of what we did. We got to be able to live in, if we sit back and we brag in those moments of what we did and how we did it, we get stuck there. And I found out, because I'm a visionary and because you're a visionary, we can't get stuck there in those moments. And so immediately I had to rebuke the spirit of living in back in the day we did I had to get rid of that, because that's not who we are anymore. Just like when COVID hit and we pivot, my mindset as a leader had to pivot as well. And only those that are assigned to where I'm going are going to be assigned to where I'm going. And this is what I found out, that at the end of the day, what God called me to do is only going to be for those that are assigned. What God has called you to do is only going to be for those that are assigned to you and assigned to your church, period, point blank. And that's what I found out. And so what I found out is that I couldn't get caught up in how people made me feel, because I felt like a failure at one moment. Oh, let me get raw and real. I felt like a failure as a pastor's wife, because I'm like, dang, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I felt like I felt guilty. I felt like, oh my God, did I back up? Because we are in the moment of healing. And it was like, no, you're on the right track. Just stay where you are and take this moment to heal. And when I tell you we came out, I'm talking about running. It's so much that we have in place this year. But what I found out is in that moment that I could do it again. Yeah. Can I pause and park and tell you that no matter what you did, you can do it again. You don't have to do the same thing, but you can have a new idea. You can have new things that happen. You can have new dreams. You can have new opportunities. There's so many things that you can do. You can keep moving. You do not have to stop because of a pandemic situation or because ministry looks different. You just got to keep moving, keep doing what God called you to do. Stay focused, stay in the vein of God, and God will give you everything that you need in this moment. Okay. God will show you what you need for that moment, for that time. But it's our job this year for me is to learn how to produce. That was the word that God gave me for all my ministries, Tonya Harden Ministries for Women of Destiny. That Tonya, I want you to not only capitalize, but I want you to capitalize was for myself. I have a vision for myself, a vision for my family, a vision for our ministry, and a vision for my business and my ministries. And that vision is produce in 2023. I got to be willing to produce in 2023. I'm not going to repeat the same cycle. I'm not going to do what I did before, but I got to be willing to produce in 2023. I want to come encourage you today. Don't repeat the same cycle. Don't listen to the naysayers, but do what God has called you to do. If you enter this year with a mind of preparation, a mind of preparing, a mind of planning, a mind of pursuing, it would allow you and help you get to a point of you producing the very thing that God has for you. But it has to be in an intentional way of producing. What does that mean? That's the question. I want to answer that. What does that mean? What does it mean to get to a point of producing? Of course, and these are not my principles. I'm just going to share this. Of course, you got to be willing to pray. Right? You can't do this without prayer. Prayer has to be the foundation of what you're doing. If you've already got a plan, if you already got a word, if you're already moving in vision, man, I'm going to just encourage you, man, continue praying. You never know what God is going to do with that very thing that he put on your heart, that he put on your mind, that he has created and designed you to do in this year. It's going to save so many people. It's going to set people free because of your experience, because of what God has given you. It's going to be life-changing like never before. Hear me, sister. I'm telling you that God is going to move through those that are moving forward. I just believe that in my spirit, that you got to be able to pray and get the foundation of that. Not only pray, but you got to be able to plan. You got to be able to plan it out, what it's going to look like, how is it going to look, what's going to happen. You got to have the plan for it. And you also got to, I tell the women and all the time, journaling. You got to be able to journal, because once you write it down, it goes from your heart to your fingertips, and from your fingertips to the paper, and from the paper to your eyes. And you're able to see the very thing that you've written down, and you can always go back to it. I'm always writing affirmations because I want to remind myself that I'm a head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I'm a lender and not a borrower. So I created a purpose planner for that reason, right? So there's a couple, look, all my stuff right here. And I got a book. So I got to have a book every year. This is my planner for the year. This is my journal for the year. And this is my book for the year. This is the book that I have. I'm reading this bookstore. So that way I can get to a point of producing in 2023. What are the things that you have that you're able to use in order to produce? So here's the question. And these are my points. If you want to write it down on the canvas of your mind, replay, say, hey, I'm good. I'm listening to you. I'm replay. I'm watching. But I want you to write this down. Number one, the question is, how were you designed to do this? That's the question. How are you designed to get to a point of you producing, man? You doing something. God created us in the beginning to produce. He created male and female so that we can produce, period. And so if God is the creator and he created us to create, that means that we should be producing some things. And I'm not just talking about babies, spiritual babies. Yes, we need to produce some things called spiritual babies. So what does produce mean? That means the ability to construct. That means to get to a place where you are in God, that you're able to construct, you're able to create. It also means to create vision. That's what producing means, a personal meaning and purpose in all physical and mental experiences, including the capacity to create and master a life purpose. This is what we're called to do. We're called to create. We're called to do some things that we've never done before. And that's what we're called to do. But the other thing I want to talk about is not only are we called to do and what we're created to do, but one of the major things we're created to do is when we create means vision. It's good to have a dream. There's nothing wrong with having a dream, and dreaming is good. But one thing about being a dreamer, you got to be a visionary as well. Come here. Because dreams are good. One thing about a dream, though, you can sit it on a shelf and never return to it ever again. But one thing about vision means that I have to, it's like a ongoing, like I got to do this. It's necessary. Vision is the ability to think or plan the future with your imagination. Come here. and wisdom. It's a way to create and plan with your imagination and wisdom. That means the ability of your mind to be creative and resourceful. Allow yourself to remove logic and impossibilities in order to create. We got to be willing to imagine that thing, see that thing, and walk in that thing. Here's the thing. I'm reminded when what's his name said, I believe if I can imagine all things are possible, explore past current ability or reality. I just believe when old boy said, I believe I can fly. What's his name? Yeah, I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Look, I think about it every night and day. This is something you think about all the time when you think about your vision. It's something you think about all the time. It becomes a part of your imagination. Imagination will take you places that you've never been before. And I always share how the Wright brothers imagine flying a plane. The lady with the comb, imagine doing some things. But here's the thing. You can have all the imagination in the world. I tell people all the time, we go get all this information. We go do all the research. We do all the things that we need to do, and we do not use it. That's just called grabbing. It's called junkie, informational junkie, period. When you just get all this information, but you don't use it, you're not intentional with it. You're not using it where you are. You're not doing those things. But wisdom, imagination, there's two words that pop out to me when I think of the word vision, what it means. Imagination and wisdom. Wisdom means the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. Woo! Say that again. The quality of having knowledge, good judgment, and experience. The quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. Let me say it like that. The quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The only way we're going to walk out in our vision is that we got to have wisdom. You can't just move just because everybody else move. You got to be what you can't just do what every other pastor's wife do, because that's not your calling. That's not your vein. That's not your fragrance. You got to be willing to do what God called you to do. And when you move in wisdom, your experience, man, within the last 12 months has been your wisdom, has been your experience, has been your knowledge, has been your judgment. There's some things, I promise you, I could talk to every woman individual and you could tell me there's some things I'm not going to do no more. There's some things that I will do again. And there's some things that you don't have to ever worry about me doing that thing no more, because of your experience, because of your knowledge, because of what you've been through, because of your experience. You got to ask yourself, what do you want to see change in your life? As an individual, again, not just as a pastor's wife. And I would also say, what do you want to see change within the area that you're over, the ministry that God has placed you over within your church? What do you want to see change? Are you over the youth? Are you over administration? Are you over the women in your church? What is the thing that God has given you, appointed to you? Your husband has appointed you to be over in your ministry. But what do you want to see change? Ooh, I want you to think about it. This is a thinking live, okay? It's a thinking live. I need you to think about it. What bad habits do you want to break this year? What are those things that you said, I want to break this year? I don't want to do that no more. What relationships do you want to disconnect from? And those that you want to connect to? Ask yourself that question. What relationship do you want to connect from? Bad habits you have learned from that you don't want to go back to ever again. I think I said that already. What are the patterns that you want to not repeat? What are the patterns that you don't want to repeat anymore? What are those patterns? You must know what's on the inside of you in order to understand that not only do you produce, but you can't produce without vision. You got to have a vision. What's your vision for the year? I told you my word for the year is capitalize, but my vision is to capitalize everything that I've already done and find the resources and do the research to make it better. That's my vision, to find the resources and the research to make it better. So whatever it is that God has called you to do in this season, you must realize what's on the inside of you is experience. It can change the lives of so many. Hear me. Woo! Hear me when I say it can change the lives of so many. With your experience, you have exactly what it takes to produce. So what have you sat down? What have you meditated on? What have you thought about? I pray that this year, as a pastor's wife, as a woman, that you're doing something that you ain't never done before, or you're starting something, or you're finishing what you started, or you're taking your dreams off the shelf that you have put up for too long, and now you're putting a vision to that dream. That's what I pray. That's what I want. I want to encourage you today, tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about procrastination, doubt, and fear. What are those things that stop you from producing? What are those things that stop you from moving in purpose? I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. But today, I just want to encourage you, whatever you're doing this year, man, I'm so excited for you. If you're already moving in it, I'm so excited. Even if you're not, man, I'm still excited because I know the possibility of what you can do. We're all here to create. I'm an old girl from Texas. You understand me? I'm an old girl from Point Blank, Texas. And here's the thing: almost didn't graduate. Almost was considered a rebel sometimes, but also rejected and almost, beat the did not beat the odds. I was that girl. But what I learned over the years after experiencing a near-death experience, that I don't want to take my dreams, my visions, or my ideas to my grave. And so what I have to do is continue the process of producing, continue the process of growing, stretching my mind and being willing to grow and being willing to change. I used to hate change. I hated change. I don't like switch up. I don't like change. I'm also an introvert. I had to learn that I can't be an introvert while doing business. I got to be able to talk to people, have a communicate with people properly. I had to learn that and deal with people. I had to learn that, right? So here's the thing. I want to encourage you, man. Walk in your purpose. I hope y'all watch the replay. Walk in your purpose. Do what God called you to do. You have a platform that is so powerful that could change so many lives. But until we believe in us and we walk away from fear and we walk away from doubt and we walk away from the naysayers, until we get to that point of true freedom, we'll never be able to do it. And we'll continue to be stuck, and we'll be just walking alone our husband and just celebrating our husband in ministry, which there's nothing wrong with that. But ain't nothing like celebrating him and him celebrating you, and y'all celebrating together because y'all both moving. My husband and I said this year we're learning to dance together. We're learning to dance together in ministry. Ain't nothing like that. We're going to learn that in money one day. Good. Pray for it. We still got to learn that part. The Lord's still working on us with that. We got to learn each other because that's totally different than ministry. But here's the thing is that I know my mind is willing to stretch, willing to grow, willing to take it to another level. All right. Because I love to grow. I love to see what God does next. And I can't wait to see what God does next in your life. But join me tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, man. We're going to be talking about it. Procrastination. Don't allow procrastination, doubt, and fear. But we're going to talk about how it happened because we've all been there. Procrastination, doubt, and fear as well. Listen, until next time, I want you to be encouraged and be blessed in everything you do. If you don't remember anything else, stay connected to God, stay connected to your marriage, and stay connected to ministry in that order. And join me live tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time during your lunch hour. All right. Until then, stay blessed in all that you do. Bye-bye.